What's up, my brother?
Is that how you say your name?
Yeah, that's how I say my name and
Yeah.
surname.
Yeah.
Tshepo Mohlala.
What?
But like, I'm gonna change my surname soon
Why are you changing your surname?
to Tshepo.
Tshepo Tshepo.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, because
Have you communicated with your ancestors?
I've communicated with my grandmother yesterday, and she was like, "Dude, you have to do it." So like, anyway, like it's a conversation that we've had with my grandmother, and like, yeah, I'm gonna change to Tshepo because I think like it's a beginning of a new era. It's a new lineage, and I think as an African too, like from an ancestral perspective, I guess you are able to align with your ancestors when you are introduced to your ancestors. So I'm a person who's never been introduced to my ancestors, especially from my dad's side, and so I don't know my lineage. I don't know anything. So basically, I embody a surname which I don't know. I don't know if I'm making sense.
It does. So Mohlala is from paternal, it's from your parents' side.
From my dad's side, yeah.
Have you considered changing it to your maternal side, your grandmother's?
Nah,
No.
nah.
And what did your mom say?
She was the first person to suggest it, like probably 10 years ago.
So why did she name you after your dad's lineage, last name?
Well, they were married.
Oh, they were married.
Yeah.
You see, I'm not privy to all the details.
Yeah, so they were married. Like, I'm a proper child, dog.
What the fuck does that mean? What is a proper child?
I mean, like, I was born in a marriage, like, you know.
But you shouldn't say things like that.
I'm sorry. I am so sorry. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry.
But don't you find the thing that now we like living at a time where when we speak we have to say a disclaimer. You know, like when you're saying a joke, you have to say I am joking. You announce it before you make a joke, because I feel like
People are super sensitive.
like the sensitivity is high. Like you see now, maybe like back then, if we we're just having this conversation, it would just be like, haha, whatever. But somebody out of context, they would have taken like, so what do you mean if you're born out of marriage or wedlock, then you're not a proper child?
People are always looking for fights, dog. Like, people are always looking for something. Like, especially like, I think maybe if you're in the public eye, people will always try to find something wrong so that they can bring it down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I am joking. I was really out of character when I said that. But like, it's like for me, like me and my friends growing up, right? We made jokes about our dads because we grew up with our grandparents. We were raised by our grandparents. And like would say, like my dad, like the last time I saw my dad, he was going to get water outside, and that was the last time I saw him. You know, like we literally were making jokes about this, so it became normal to us. And I speak like this because it was, you know, like I grew up without a dad.
Yeah.
So like I don't feel bad. Like it was like for a very long time, like I felt bad because like when I was a kid, like kids would be like, yo, my dad bought me like my Crocs, you know, for soccer, bring you soccer boots, and you don't have brand new soccer boots, or my dad took us to like to Nando's or whatever. So I didn't have those bragging rights, but eventually I got to a point where I'm like so comfortable in my own skin that I can like talk about these things and make fun about it, because like, you know, it's part of me, it's my life, so
yes.
There's nothing I can change, you know. So I think people shouldn't take such things personally, and if you embrace it, that means like you've dealt with it.
So where's your father now?
He's somewhere in the world, dog.
When last did you see him?
I think 4 years ago, I went to my uncle's funeral, and my dad and I never spoke at that funeral. That was the last time I was giving him a last chance. You know, Gucci, dog, I'm here. I can forgive you. I'm a guy. I understand. I've been in a relationship with a woman, and it didn't work out. I understand. Like, let's chat man to man, you know. But like,
don't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Exactly. So it was, yeah, we didn't have that conversation. So I think he wasn't ready. But I kind of feel like he deals with problems like I deal with problems. I don't like to chat. Like, I just keep quiet.
Yeah.
So.
Well, let's start at the beginning.
We are at the beginning.
We are at the beginning.
What's up?
The beginning of the end of the beginning.
Yeah.
You dropped out of film school for fashion school.
Yeah. Dropped out of film school for fashion.
Yeah. Take me through the process.
It's a crazy one. So So my granny is a very interesting person in my life. She's a storyteller, amazing storyteller, a pastor. And so like I was a very shy guy growing up. So like I was that guy like in the class, like you'd never see me. Like I'd be dead, quiet. You know, I was scared of everything, scared of the world, scared of the girls. I was just scared. And I wanted to be like my grand so much because like she's so good at stories. Like when she goes on stage and like she sings a song and the whole church like stands up and like sings in unison, and it's just the most beautiful thing to watch. And then she tells stories, and her way, her delivery of stories like was so amazing. She was such a performer, and she still is today. And so I just wanted to be like her, but I knew that I can't be like a person who's on stage and sharing stories. So the best way for me to be in a storytelling space was to be a filmmaker. So I enrolled it after to study cinematography. Well, I wanted to major in cinematography, the guy behind the camera. So I think when I was in grade 10 at church, I used to be the camera dude. And so I thought like that's gonna be my life. I'm gonna be the guy behind the camera, and I'm gonna travel the world, meet Steven Spielberg, make the next Godzilla, and like kill them. And it didn't happen that way. I realized when I got to after is that like I am so in tune with fashion. I really love clothes. I really love how people look. I love how people present themselves. There's something interesting about that. Like growing up as a pastor's kid, you always had to look presentable. You can't leave the house so that kind of like reminded me all the time, like you need to look good, you need to look good. And all the time it's like when people are watching you all the time, you kind of need to give them a show. So like I was that guy in my neighborhood who like wore skinny jeans, the first guy in the neighborhood to wear skinny jeans. And at some point some guys thought like, yo, this guy's like, he's not straight, and worst of all, like I'm pastor's kid, so like you're not straight, you're pastor's kid, oh my god. And I was like, no guys, like skinny jeans, it's like it's the next thing, it's the next big thing, and like 2 years down the line guys catch up on the styles. So yeah, when I got to after, I realized that I'm in the wrong space, I'm in the wrong circle, and my medium is fashion. So I sat my family down and I told them, yo, listen, I wanna go study fashion design, and yes, I don't know how to sew, I don't know how to put a garment together, but I just love clothes, I just love the industry. And it was a huge fight, coming from Ekasi. When you say you want to be a fashion designer, the only thing that they think of is the tailor in the garage with like 12,000 pairs of trousers, and fighting with people that you didn't deliver and whatever. And for me, I was like, guys, I saw something big. I went to Joburg, and I think at that time I just went to watch David Tlale's show. He was showcasing Africa Fashion International, 12 o'clock midnight. The show was extremely packed. That sold me, it sold me. I was like, I just want to be like David Tlale, if not bigger, so I dropped out, enrolled myself at fashion school. I studied fashion. I think within the first 6 months I realized that I've received so much information that I can go out there and bang. At the time, like my friend and I, Spoo, I don't know if you know Spoo from Skinny Spoo Socks. So we're like best friends from like since grade 9. We're like since kids, since childhood, and so like we have the same story, we have the same upbringing. Like I remember growing up, my sister and I, when we walked to church, Spoo's sister and him, like literally like that, like this is Spoo's sister and Spoo. It's me and my sister, literally all the time. And eventually we became friends and we went to church together. We did the whole things together. And Spoo dropped out. He called me this other day. He's like, yo, Tshepo, I want to talk to you. Meet me at SS. I'm like, all right, cool. I'll leave the class. He's like, yo, bro, I just dropped out. I'm like, yo, Ndota, what are you going to do, bro? How are you going to tell your mom? Like, because we're all scared of his mom. And I think at that time, like it kind of gave me like so much confidence in myself, so much courage, is that if a guy like that can just drop out and follow his dream, then you can also do the same. Like there's no plan, there's a feeling. That's it. You just feel it. There's no plan where I'm gonna start, how I'm gonna start, who I'm gonna talk to. It's just you feel it. So I finished my school. I finished my whole year, my semester, and unfortunately due to financial difficulties I couldn't go back to school, which for me was kind of a blessing in disguise, because that's where my journey started. My journey started in 2011. I was on the street of Johannesburg, stylist, blogger, photographer guy, shooting weddings, selling people dreams. If I was that good enough, I'd probably be a con artist. But for me, like, it was just the beginning of something great, something that even me, I wasn't really aware of, the power that I possess, the power that if you just tap into something, that feeling, there's so much power, there's so much grace, there's so much hope in it. That was the beginning of my journey into becoming a fashion icon in South Africa. Am I a fashion icon, Doug?
What did you learn? What are some of the lessons that you got from fashion school in the year that you're there until you had to drop out that you still use in your business right now?
I think one of the biggest lessons that I've learned is that first was confidence, right? And confidence it's not taught, it's nurtured. It's kind of nurtured or uprooted, like it's taken out of you. So it taught me confidence. Two is believing in yourself, and confidence is one and the same thing. And that, like, whatever you think in your head, you can actually make it real. Or like any other fashion school, like, it teaches you processes, how to create a range from the beginning. You don't just wake up in the morning and make a pair of jeans, but like it's thought of. So from the beginning, it's like, what's the story? Where's the inspiration from? What's your mood board? What's your silhouette? What's your fabric? Then fabric sourcing, then detail, then stitching. Is it zips? Is it button? What is it? Is it you know what I mean? Like, it taught me a process of putting a collection together and doing a presentation. And that's the most important thing that I've learned from school. And also the history of fashion. Where does fashion come from? Where does this whole industry stem from? And the most amazing stuff that I've learned was, I think, ancient Egyptians, how they kind of revolutionized.
How many syllables?
I don't know. Revolutionized. 7. I was bad with maths, so.
English.
Hey, dude, like I was bad, eh? I don't know how I'm doing that. I was so terrible in school. But anyway, and it kind of taught me, like, the history of fashion and how everything was created for a function, everything was created for a purpose, and that was the birth of almost everything. Like, from no technology to creating the best using your hands, to creating yarns, to creating a weaving system that we're still using today, which is like created an industry that's worth over $200 billion, which is the denim industry. And I think, like, in history, or when people talk about denim or the history of denim, they don't talk about the weaving process, where it comes from. The weaving process. I'm sorry, I'm going too fast, I'm going too deep. I'm sorry. Like, when I talk, I'm sorry.
You don't have a full stop.
I'm sorry.
Okay, you said something very interesting about you were bad at school, you were judging yourself, you were bad at mathematics, or you felt that you were bad in mathematics or English or whatever. But don't you feel like, had you been in like a system, an education system that said, okay, Tshepo is a creative, he actually likes working with clothes. I'm just talking about, like, maybe the education system needs to change. You only got, and it also boils down to you as a person, that your confidence only came about, uprooted, like you're seeing, like you said, once you were in an environment that really celebrated and worked with what you are at the core of who you are as a person.
So now for me, I feel like, like, parents have a huge role to play in the upbringing of a child. you kind of see your child, like where they're stemming towards, or where they're gravitating towards, and you kind of have to like assist them to get to that level. Unfortunately, I was raised by parents who didn't know any better. Like all they wanted for me and for my sisters and for my siblings is that, you need to go to school, finish your matric, go to varsity, get your degree or diploma, get a job and be safe. Because like,
shit is real out
shit
there.
is real out there, you know what I mean? And so those kind of things, like we were not raised in a way that like they have nurtured certain things. So for me, like I feel like parents play a bigger role than education. Education starts at home. If the home is not well designed or well structured to nurture talent, to nurture whatever it is, that's the job. Like for me, I feel like that's what parents' job is to nurture their kids' talent.
Yeah.
Or what they like. You can see a child, like I saw my niece, that she's a leader, dog, when she was 2 years old. So I had to create an environment that's always gonna nurture that she's a leader, right? All her other cousins are like probably like 5 years older than her, but she's taking control. They listen to her. Yesterday when I was home, I went home yesterday, Sunday, and I want to tell you a story, right? So she's like, I was dreaming, and this is my dream, right? So she's telling me about her dream, and she tells me like 2 sentences of her dream, and all the other cousins come to me to tell me her dream the way it is. So for me, it's like it's natural leadership skills that she has. So it kind of that space needs to be nurtured, and that's what education is, like nurturing a person, seeing where they have to go, seeing how you can like carve them to the right direction. Luckily, I was surrounded by the right people, my friends, witches, so we'd lie to each other. You're good, bro. Like, when we get to Joburg, bro, like, you're good. So we've always had that conversation. That's
like positive reaffirmation.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah. Is it positive reaffirmation or just positive affirmation?
It's just positive affirmation. It's affirmations.
No, I think there was too many of your friends, so they were reaffirming.
Hey, every day, bro.
So maybe your niece will be in your succession plan. She will head the house of Tshepo.
She's definitely part of the succession plan, like if I don't...
Do you have got kids of your own?
Not yet.
No, but do you want kids of your own?
Yeah, I'd love little Tsepos running around, bro.
How many?
Like 6.
All of them?
I want all of them.
Yes, and it's like... each for each alphabet.
Yeah, exactly.
Each for each alphabet.
Oh my goodness. Wow, you just gave me a concept. Snap, dude. Maybe
you need to pay me.
Well, branding 101, hey, that's proper.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. Anyways, what was I gonna ask you? You talk too much, Tshepo.
I'm sorry.
I'm losing my trail of thoughts.
I'm sorry.
We left it at fashion school.
Yeah. So you were asking me about like education. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We're talking about the education part of it. You remember when you were starting Tshepo, and then you asked me about the name?
Yeah.
And what did that say to you?
I don't remember what you said, but like I think
we had 44 Stanley. We had
44 Stanley. I remember we had sandwiches at that sandwich place.
I don't think we had money to buy sandwiches at 44 Stanley.
We didn't.
No, I'm joking. Yeah, we probably had a beautiful gourmet sandwich and a freshly pressed squeezed juice. Yeah. So in 2015, you started your brand.
Yeah.
Before then, what were you doing? I know you're part of a collective.
Yeah.
Like there were a group of you Skinny Boo Socks.
No, we were not a collective. We're just friends, bro. Like.
Yeah, friends, but you were a group of people.
Yeah, we're just homies, bro. Like we grew up together, so
you're
like
an entourage. You're a clan.
As a dude, you need a gang, bro. Like the streets are dangerous, man. Like people pull up on you, so you need to, Before I started my brand, like I was part of a brand called African Swiss. We're making like high-end denim, streetwear fashions, and I mean, like I saw like
Do you work for them or you are part of the people who started the brand?
I was part of it.
Okay.
I was part
Yeah, I remember there was quite a few of you.
Yeah, it was myself, Tato, and Busi.
Okay.
3 of us. And then we had a shop in downtown Joburg, at Fox Street, which did well. I think
Showcased at Fashion Week.
showcased at Fashion Week, got a little bit of fame that, you know, every black guy deserves. And yeah, like I think for me, that was the beginning of my journey. You know, I had to go through that, that not working out for me, right, to being where I am today. And I remember that morning when I had to resign, you know, I kind of left everything. I left the money.
Did you have shareholdership in the company?
Yeah.
Okay.
Left the money, left the shares, I literally left naked. You know, they even
You
took
left
my,
with a pair of jeans.
I didn't even live, they took everything. They took my jeans.
No, I mean like metaphorically, Tshepo The Jean.
Yeah. So because like they stripped off my jeans, like, so I was like,
What do you
okay,
mean
cool.
they took off your jeans?
They took my favorite jacket, bro. Like I'm
Why
mad
did
at
they take
Tattoo.
it?
Because they were mad at me for leaving the brand.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Where's that jacket?
I don't know where it is. It was my favorite jacket, bro. Like
Was it an African Swiss jacket?
I only wear like stuff that I make.
I remember that jacket. I think I've seen you with that jacket.
Like the one with the zip, like the biker jacket.
Yeah.
Yeah. I only wear stuff that I make, hey.
Yeah.
Like I feel so weird wearing other things. But anyway, so I was part of that. And then Tshepo The Jean Maker was my Instagram handle. And I remember at the time, like I left African Swiss probably like it was Feb 2015. And it took me a while to get to Tshepo The Jean Maker. I only launched in November. At the end of the year, to like on the 27th of November 2015. And I think like throughout that period was like one of the darkest periods of my entire life, because I've experienced everything. I've experienced making money.
What was happening? What made it dark?
It made it dark because I was broke. I was broke, bro. Like I was so
Money gives you clarity.
broke. Money at least gives you some form of clarity, Joe. Like it doesn't give you the full picture, but like, you know, it makes things easy. You know, like I can chill and like have a beer and have a conversation, you know. But money gives you like at least leeway. It gives you like a bit of like, you know, equilexes, or like you don't worry about money a lot. And
Yeah,
for me,
I'm gonna keep interjecting you.
yeah, you must keep, because I can keep on going.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So, how much did you start Tshepo The Jean Maker with?
So at the time, I got a loan for 8,000 rand.
From a bank.
Not from a bank, from a friend, from a lady friend of mine.
Okay.
And I.
Why did she believe in you to give you? Why did she have confidence in you to give 8,000 rand?
Why are you laughing, Dad?
Okay, have you paid back the money?
Don't ask. I paid it back, bro. I paid it back.
Okay, you paid back the money. Okay, good.
So yeah,
So you had a startup capital of 8,000
I had
rand.
a startup capital of 8,000 rand, bought fabric for like 4 grand, and production costed me around 15,000. So I created the first range of jeans, called them the Presidential Slim Fit. I made 100 pairs of jeans. One of my first jeans is actually in the studio.
Okay, wait. 100 jeans with
8 grand. 8 grand. So it costed me like, literally the whole thing costed me like, so 15 plus 8 is?
15 plus 8.
Yeah.
It's 13.
No. It's so bad.
It's 23.
Yeah, so it costed me 3 grand to 23,000 to do the first range of jeans. But I didn't have, I only had 8. So what I did was, in the process, like I'd go out, do some small jobs, make more money, so I can, like, you know, and eventually the range got finished.
Okay, let me try and understand. Because these are like most of the stories that we don't hear, and I'm glad that you're honest about your process, right? 8,000 rand, you bought raw materials with 4,000 rand. The 4,000 rand was for other things.
Yeah.
Like getting around admin, labor. And then your end goal was to make 100 pairs of jeans.
Yeah.
And you raise other capital by doing other jobs, whatever it is that you're doing.
Yeah.
More.
No. Not that.
And then you got to a pair of 100 jeans.
Yeah.
Then that launched Tshepo The Jean Maker with a line called the Presidential Fit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, so that's how it actually started.
And then you sold these 100 pairs. How long did it take you to sell these 100 pairs?
It took me 6 months, if not a year.
Because some of them you gifted them away.
Yeah, I gifted like 10.
Was I one of the 10?
You're one of the 10.
Thank you.
Who never wore the jeans.
No, because they don't
Still
fit my
today.
thighs.
Yeah, bring them back so I can sell them.
It was a gift, Tshepo. You can't say you give to me and you want your gift back.
You know, those jeans are so important to the heritage of Tshepo.
Yeah, it's good because I also collect South African fashion.
Yeah, so like...
ATJ is an institution of African fashion.
Okay, cool.
So it goes to the ATJ archives. They save. You know that they save.
Is it?
So if you ever need them, How many of them do you have them now?
Now, I have 3.
Only 3?
Only 3.
Out of the 73 out there?
Yeah.
So how are you going to find them?
I don't know.
We must launch a campaign. Here's me giving you an idea.
I know the guys who bought them.
Oh, they bought them.
Yeah, so I know the people who bought them because like every client that I had a relationship with, you know, and I've like at some point like I asked people like, yo, can you please bring back those old jeans? I'll give you new ones. Or like people are like, no, that's part of our heritage. No, like I meet guys like who still wear those jeans today. Like,
aren't you glad that there's one pair out there that is unworn, still in its finest condition, that I've been preserving for you?
I'm really glad.
Yeah.
I'm really glad, and I'm happy to hear that.
But I think I'm skinnier now. I'll try them on and
Must
see.
try them on. Those are the best pair of jeans ever.
Yeah, I mean you made them.
That's the purest. Though. Like that's where I was like, I was hungry, broke, depressed, homeless.
Don't lie, you're never homeless.
I was couch surfing, bro.
That's not homeless.
It is like you are homeless when you couch surfing.
No, you still had your grandmother's house, your mother's house.
I couldn't go back to my grandmother's house because like it was a hostile situation. Like they were telling me to look for a job.
Because you dropped out of school.
I dropped out of school.
You wasted that money.
I wasted that money. Next, I'm in Joburg, and then the fashion thing that you guys started didn't work out.
And also you living large.
Yeah,
you with this group of people, you taking photos.
You know what I mean?
Media,
like I'm that guy, I'm that cool guy on the street who's extremely broke. And for me, it's like I think that was like I learned to appreciate my process. I learned to appreciate where I was and where I am and where I'm going. And I always felt like, for me, like I always felt like God has a higher purpose in my life with these jeans that I'm selling. And I don't know why I'm so in love with them so much. And I think God was trying to say something with me, or God was trying to use me to say something to the world. And that's what I feel, is that like this is just a tool for me, for God to prove himself that he's God and he's amazing. You know, taking a small kid, something, dusty, dingy, dangerous place of no hope, and to showcase this across the world. I think for me it's just God wanted to show something, and that's why my process has kind of been quite difficult, but also like there was always something saying stay, like relax, it's gonna be okay.
Do you think that sometimes we tend to glorify struggle or just a daily life because we're seeking some form of a narrative, and then it's always easier to sell this, broke down, blah, blah, blah. Because to me, it sounds like you were... No, let me finish.
Yeah.
To me, it sounds like you were a child. You were like 22, 23, 21. Like we all go through those things. No. You're not meant to have money. Let me finish talking.
Okay.
You're meant to be broke at 22, 23, you know? You're meant to be like, make bad decisions, not pay rent, be kicked out, not know where to stay, party until the next day and still party on and sleep at somebody else's couch. But then like once you reach a certain stage, then you need a narrative, and that becomes cool to say that story.
Nah, I don't think for me it's like, it comes from a cool place. Right. I don't like that story, first and foremost.
Stop telling it.
Listen,
I'm lying, it's your story.
It's part of who I am, right? And like I was having a conversation with somebody from from the IDC, this lady from the IDC, and she was talking, I'm so tired of hearing the story of struggle. Oh my God. And then we're talking about art, right? And then the same person says, real art is born from pain. But 2 minutes ago, same person, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not glorifying it, but I'm just saying it's part of my process, where I come from. And I wasn't born with a silver spoon or a silver plate, so whatever.
But you had a support system, a nice support system.
What do you mean I had a nice support system?
You had your mom there, you had your grandmother that you speak highly of, who took care of you, who inspired you, who take you to church. You went to varsity, you went to 2 varsities. You had
I took myself to the other varsity.
It doesn't matter. Some people
I had to
can't even go to
I had to work. I had to work and school at the same time.
So is everybody, Tshepo.
Not everybody. Not everybody. But I get where you come from, but I'm not glorifying that.
No, and I'm honestly just playing the devil's advocate.
No, it's good.
Yeah.
It's good. I'm not glorifying that, but in South Africa, where we come from, it's a reality, dude.
True.
It's
and also, I didn't mean you see now, there's always this thing that you must say, this disclaimer of I'm not really, and I know that that's your story.
Yeah.
And that's
but I get you,
yeah.
and I like that. Trust me, I love it.
Yeah.
It's the best thing, dude.
Yeah.
Keep on doing it.
I'm always thinking of somebody who's watching this conversation and they're just like,
of course.
Rah.
Yeah, I'm tired of that story. But think of all the greatest artists in the world. They come from very deep places, very scary. It comes from pain, And I went to a Miles Monroe before he passed on. And he was sharing a seminar in Pretoria. And he spoke about how real entrepreneurs are born from anger, right? Entrepreneurs, for you to do something, you're angry at something, right? That's where you see your niche.
Yeah.
Right? I was angry at myself. Too skinny, can't find the right pair that fits me. I'm angry. I love clothes, but nobody makes them how I want them, And for me, that was it's an opportunity, right? And everything else around me is a story. People would like to hear where I come from, but I don't come from the best background ever. And it's okay.
And I still advocate that to a degree you come from the best background.
And for me, it's a great background, but it's not the best background, right? I don't have a support. For instance, I had to daddy myself. My granddad was there, and he's a guy who doesn't talk. I had to daddy myself. My friends were my dads. I was my friend's dad. We had to daddy each other and be each other's big bros and teach each other, show each other how to love a woman, how to, you know what I mean? All those small things. But for me, it's it has to be real. You know the thing about jeans, right? Jeans are about freedom. And it glorifies freedom. Everybody who wears jeans is free, right? You take a guy who's wearing a suit, they act a certain way, they're trying to look smart if they're not smart. It always portrays a certain image.
But also by design, a suit is designed to constrain. Exactly,
right? And then jeans, you're free.
They're durable, they're flexible,
they look good.
Multi-purpose.
The multi-purpose, so for me, as a jean dude, I want to be free. I am free because I'm dealing with one of the most democratic materials in the world.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know what I was saying.
I don't even know where we were. We left your story at the presidential fit, the 100 pair of jeans. And then when did you formalize your business structure?
Immediately.
Immediately.
Yeah. So it's
100% ownership now.
No, it's not 100% ownership. So
do you have investors?
I've got business partners. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. You can't do this on your own. It's really expensive to set up, and I got to realize how many barriers to so many, I look at designers and I realize and I feel pain for them, is that some of them are not even going to be like a Tshepo or you're Richie Mnisi or whoever, because like the barriers to industry are high. It is expensive to run an industry like this, to be in an industry like this. You know, fabric is expensive. We don't produce our own fabric in South Africa, first and foremost. We don't create our fibers. Now they're trying, the IDC finally is trying to like bring back the industry, and I'm happy like there's some great conversation happening around where they're trying to bring back the textiles industry in South Africa, but it's gonna take like about 6 years.
I think more than that.
Or more than that, right? And
a few decades.
A few decades.
And the reason why I'm saying is that because we're trying to catch up with other countries where they're doing like smart fibers.
Yeah.
Like fabric that breathes, fabric that doesn't get like stained.
But we need to start somewhere.
We need to start, you're right.
Like we can be a country that's known for like a good pair of jeans and a white t-shirt. That's it. And be the best. And then
just focus on cotton.
Just focus on, and then grow from there.
So as someone who works with a denim fiber and you design...
Oh, we're talking about the textiles industry.
Yeah, we're talking about the textile industry. What are some of the difficulties that you face?
I think right now is, especially from a fabric perspective, right? You look at the fabric that I'm looking at right now is made from the finest cotton in Africa, Zimbabwean cotton. The cotton is taken from Zimbabwe, sent to Japan, woven in Japan in one of the best mills in the world, dyed naturally 27 times in and out, in and out, in and out, so it's natural dyeing. Brought back to South Africa, you get charged 40% duties when you bring in the fabric this side, right? So landing a meter like that, it's 1,000 rand to get it into my space, right? So those are some of the barriers to industry. It is that expensive to create a premium product in South Africa because certain things are not there. There's no industry. There's no textiles industry. We cannot produce the fabric at that level. We cannot produce the quality. We don't have good dyers. Like there's only a few, so we don't have the skill set. And a conversation I was having with the IDC is that, listen, if we really want to be the best in the world, let's collaborate with other countries. Bring their finest engineers. Bring them this side. What we did last week is that we as Tshepo Jeans, we collaborated with Denim City, which is a school in Amsterdam, funded by all the big brands around the world, and we brought their master tailor and their founder to the space to come and teach people, our tailors, on how to create quality denim. You know, they have the skill. They've been doing it for so many years. They're playing around with new fabrics, with new materials. They're playing around with tencel. They're 100 years ahead. So I had to collaborate with those people so I can also be part of the revolution. And unfortunately, if we don't collaborate as a country, we won't build an industry. You know, and like I was saying, it's so hard for an average dude who's a designer to actually be part of the industry because there's so many barriers to entry.
Yeah. And how did you know that you needed partners to get where you are right now?
Well, I think for me...
And where did you find the help?
I think for me, the first and foremost was like, I had to, when I started out, I didn't have operational capital. So the money the jeans I'd sell, I'd take the same money and eat it. Well, not eat it, but like live on that amount. So I realized it's not sustainable, first and foremost, so you need operational capital, right? And on top of that, you need capital, capex, setup capital. And setup capital is like, you need to buy fabric, you need to buy machines, you need to buy this, you need to buy that. That's money that's not gonna come back.
You need to pay people.
You need to pay people, you need to do that, right? Then operational capital is that operations. So that's when I realized when the business was growing, where there was a lot of demand for the brand, people would come in and we didn't have no jeans, we didn't have no stock, we didn't have anything, you know. So I realized that right now I kind of need help because I am drowning. I cannot sustain it. Everything that I make, I kind of have to run operations. Operations are much more expensive than starting the business, you know. So that's when I realized I need assistance, and also where I got the help is that luckily Tshepo is positioned in a space where our clients are really upper echelon people. and it's people who can afford a pair of jeans for 7,000 rand. They don't mind spending that money, and they love to support, and they love good quality. They love what the brand represents, and also is that it's a fresh of breath air. It's a breath of fresh air. Well, in South Africa, that a black dude, again, and which is something I don't like using, but it is real.
Yeah.
It is a reality, that a black dude was that brave to take his name, put it on a pair of jeans, and something that's extremely sentimental.
Yeah. What does Tshepo stand for?
Tshepo stands for hope. Tshepo means hope.
I know.
Right. Tshepo the brand.
Yeah.
Tshepo stands for quality. Tshepo stands for authenticity. Tshepo stands for confidence.
It's funny that you said that a place like Tsakani is highly dangerous and there's no hope. I was going to ask you about that your name literally means hope,
Yeah.
and you're out of Tsakani.
Yeah.
But because you're
So I'm the hope of
talking a lot.
Tsakani. I knew what I was saying.
So you're the hope of Tsakani.
I'm the hope of Tsakani.
You see, now we corrected that.
Of course. We had to. I knew that's what I was planting a seed.
You're just planting it.
I was planting a seed.
Yeah. And Tshepo, how long did it take you to separate Tshepo the man from Tshepo the brand, Tshepo the Jean Maker?
I think that's one thing I'm still struggling with, is to detach myself from the brand, and slowly but surely I'm working on detaching myself from the brand. I look at brands like your big name brands, and it's all by a real person who had real purpose, and they were able to create something that's sustainable without them being there. And that's what I've been trying to do for the past couple of months. And what I did was we've hired a team. We have a team now that's responsible for certain elements in the business, from the financial perspective, from a lawyer to people who are running the front and the back end. So we have all those kind of systems in place that the business can run without Tshepo being there. So I have more freedom now to go to travel and start a new relationship, to plant a seed in different countries, in different continents. And that's the blessing that I have right now in the business. Unfortunately, I'm the guy who can see the vision where we're going, and that's what I need to keep on doing. It's just to keep on seeing it and keep on going and keep on connecting and keep on creating this company culture and the brand culture, because the brand is a story well told.
Yeah, and what is the vision of the brand?
The vision of the brand is to become the best in what we do, not the biggest, and I've realized that, like, if you're the best, then you can have it for a very long time. I can give it to label to run it, and label can give it to Tshepo Tshepo Jr. And so it's much more sustainable, as opposed to chasing being the biggest and being seen everywhere and being available everywhere. So for me, it's like running a long game, and growing a brand from South Africa is going to be global so quick. So the aim is to take on like the global space or the global market very quick, and there's so much appetite for the brand globally. We get a whole lot of orders from the UK, from the US, Asia, even India, and I'm like, oh my God, like the brand has reached so many places that even myself, I cannot go there, so there's so many opportunities for the brand to grow bigger globally, but also, like, most importantly, making our stamp locally, being the authority in denim in South Africa. When all these global brands want to come into South Africa, they must speak to Tshepo first. They must ask me.
You must be the voice.
I must be the voice of denim in South Africa or the African continents, and that's the vision of Tshepo.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
And then you started off as solely just doing denim pants, and you've diversified, you've grown the business, you've introduced now like jackets, kimonos, t-shirts. Is there more that you're going to be introducing in terms of range?
Absolutely. So like we've been working on a pair of jeans for the past 8 months.
What are they called?
The presidential slim fit, the presidential foot.
Yeah.
The reason being is that, like, I think it's my heritage product, it's my heritage. It's the beginning, and you have to keep it going for a very long time, as opposed to changing names each and every time you drop something. So we improved the cut, we improved the fabric, we improved the buttons, the fit, everything. It's more sustainable than ever. We can track our carbon footprint cotton. We went to the factory and chose the cotton ourselves, this and that, to chose up our dyes and all that. So that's the most beautiful thing, is that like we're able to control our whole value chain from just going to collaborating with one factory that has been doing it for over 50 years and have been masters in the game. And what they're working on is more of a sustainable denim. If you know, denim is one of the most polluting industries in the world. There's certain rivers in the world, in China or in Asia, that have gone blue, and you cannot clean that. In Johannesburg, they had to cut out laundromats which were washing denim because the water gets taken to our dams and they cannot clean them. Then it becomes much more expensive to clean water that's been diluted by denim dyes. And so the factory focuses on sustainable denim, sustainable washes, sustainable fabrics, recycling, reusing, and that's what we've been doing. As a brand, we're all about sustainability throughout all spheres, from the employees that we have, from the brand culture. For instance, 95% of our employees live within the 200-meter radius of our office, so they walk to work. And we don't have a lot of problems of people saying, hey, I can't come to work because the taxi problems or whatever. So we've managed to create that, and it's much more sustainable. And also, we've employed women as opposed to employing like 24-year-olds who are hungry, broke, depressed.
Like you.
Like me.
Dark space.
who won't be part of this for a very long time.
Yeah.
So.
How long did it take you to understand business or fashion?
I've been in business for a very long time, for all my life. And so my first business, I used to sell sweets. And so I sold sweets, and because my mom was like, couldn't give me money for escolweni, so she bought me a pack of breads. So I used to sell my breads escolweni for like 10 cents and make pocket money. So, and then the business went under because I was giving too much credit. So that was one of my first business lessons. I think also like with a couple of people that I know as well who sold sweets, is that they went under because they started giving away too much credit. So that was, for me, like I've been in business for a while. My granddad was a construction worker, and every time when he'd get a job, like he'd bring money at home, give it to our gran, and that money would sustain the whole family for a good 6 months. So I've been in the business space for a very long time, and I've seen how business can also make you independent, but also drive you crazy at the same time. It took me quite a while to understand the business of fashion, because there were so many processes involved. I mean, like I was saying, or like any other business, the process is almost the same. Is that you need money for capital, for the space, for starting, for setup. And then you also need money for operations. And operations is much more expensive than setting up, because operations in 6 months' time you probably spend $500,000 or more than $1 million, you don't know. And for me, it kind of took me a bit of time, because I had to do it until I realized, okay, Shap, this is where I'm going wrong. So let's say last year was my best business year. 2018, I learned a lot of business lessons, which in 2019 I became much more stronger and much more aware
what
of what I'm doing. What are the lessons
that you learned in last year?
That money comes and goes, and you need to plan. You know, you need to plan financially. You can't do it if you don't have a financial plan.
What were some of the worst mistakes that you made in business?
Worst mistakes is that like I got paid, took myself. I thought business money was my money. That's one of the lessons that I've learned, is that I thought my business's money is my money. Took myself to Cape Town, spent 50,000 in 10 days, came back broke.
You know, let's do this again.
And the business was broke.
I'm used to this dark cloud of brokenness.
You know, so that's one of the lessons that I've learned, is that you have to plan, especially from a financial perspective. And it's a long game, you know. One of the founders of big South Africa's big businesses told me that like it took them 25 years to make money. So be patient.
Are you drawing a salary yet?
Yes, I'm drawing a salary.
How long after did you start drawing a salary? Since 2015. It's 2019 now. How many years?
4 years. So
Are you sure?
I only started drawing a salary this year.
Sure.
Yeah.
How much you make?
How much do I make?
I'm joking. Or you wanna tell me?
Well, I know I'm okay.
You're living, you're not missing meals.
Yeah, I'm not missing meals, you know. I miss meals by choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
I have medical aid.
Oh, you got medical aid?
Yeah.
And a pension fund.
And a pension fund, and I pay tax.
And you pay
Pay
as you earn. I mean, look at you.
I've got UIF.
So you have a fully functioning business.
So I've got a fully
Not that I
functioning
ever
business.
doubted that it was.
Yeah. It's a
You
fully,
see the disclaimer again?
it's a fully functional business, and everybody in the studio has all those benefits.
Which is also good to retain your staff.
Yeah.
Because if you don't offer those things, then they're just going to leave you.
Yeah.
What do you wish for your business?
What do I wish for my business is that everybody that I'm employed and everybody who's surrounded by me is that becomes a specialist. in
You
what they
just
do.
I can't hear you.
I want specialists around me. I want to create the best ever. I want Tshepo to be on the forefront. I want Tshepo to become one of the best innovative brands ever. I want when people think Tshepo, they must think innovation, they must think imagination, they must feel freedom, and they must feel confidence in themselves. And that's what I wish, and and take this country forward.
I believe in
Tshepo.
Why do you believe in Tshepo?
Because Tshepo took me out of the dust. I believe in Tshepo because Tshepo sells confidence, and Tshepo is confidence.
What? So would you say that is what Tshepo The Jean Maker stands for?
Stands for confidence, yeah.
Are you ever gonna drop the Jean Maker?
I've dropped it.
Have you dropped it already?
Yeah.
It wasn't that the first thing that I told you when you came to me to ask me what do I think about your name?
But that's what position does.
I know, but still.
That's what position does, and so now with Tshepo Jeans, we're trading as Tshepo Jeans.
That was the first thing I remember when we had the conversation.
Yeah.
I was like, drop the Jean Maker. But it had its purpose, intent, and
it served its
did
purpose.
its thing. Yeah, it did its thing. But I knew that you were going to drop it in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, eventually we're going to be Tshepo.
Straight up.
Straight up, like Tshepo. Those Tsepos, bro.
Cultural radar. What do you think is moving the needle right now?
What is moving the needle right now?
Yeah.
It's authenticity. You have to be real, man. And that's where brands are leaning towards right now, is that they want to be real, they want to be felt. It's time of, I think the time of fast fashion is slowly ending. We're kind of going back to the basics again. We're researching, we want to see the process. We love the process more than we love the final product, because we enjoy the final product because of the process. So that's what's happening in the culture, in fashion for me. That's what's happening, that's the culture. And it's probably in 10 years time, it might shift again, I don't know. But people just have stories right now. People want to hear stories. I saw that where that guy went to a famous chicken place and proposed to his spouse, and it went viral. And that story, because people want stories, dude. People want to feel happy. Tell me a story, make me laugh, make me feel. And that's what's happening. That's a cultural shift, I think.
Okay. And then speaking of stories and online and going viral, you also had a moment of going viral online.
Yeah, it comes and goes. It comes and goes, you know.
Did it move the needle? Did it help the business?
A lot.
Do you believe that
it's free marketing?
It's like any publicity is good publicity.
Yeah, I feel like any publicity, it's up to you how you treat it. How you respond to it. It's really, really up to you.
But is it something that you want back again? No.
What?
I don't think so.
That type of publicity?
That type of viral? No.
I don't want that type of viral. But it kind of positioned us. It got a lot of people thinking about us. It got us to the right people.
Brand awareness.
Like the viral.
What did they think about consideration set? What was the tweet about?
what the one they said we're expensive. Yeah. And I mean, like, people who buy our jeans and wear them, and they're proud because they feel like they're wearing the most expensive pair of jeans.
Yeah, but also
in the
that's the other
world.
thing. You really don't need to justify your price, because
Exactly.
those who know, they know.
Yeah, if you know,
But
you know.
do you not? I always look at things, and I believe that it's just the consumer education part of it, because people don't know what makes this product
Yeah,
a
I think
certain
for
price
me, like,
point.
it also kind of put us in a space where we're like, now we have to educate, and that's the most beautiful place or space you'll ever be. And as a brand, is to educate, and if you continue educating, then you're winning so many souls, you're winning so many customers. Like, now I have to educate of what selvage is, you know, what makes a blue denim blue, or what makes a blue denim better than, what makes my blue denim better than your blue denim is because of the process. So we're in that space where we can educate, and that's the most beautiful thing to be, like, the most beautiful position to ever be as a brand.
Yeah. Do you have anything more to say?
Ah, man, for the fact that I'm a 10.
What is a 10?
Oh, dude, look.
So you're never short of confidence.
I can't. Confidence is on fleek right here, bro.
Oh, thanks, Tshepo.
Thank you so much. This was fun.
Yeah, but I just couldn't get you to shut up.
Ash, dude, you can't get me to shut up. Eh? Nobody can get me to shut up, bro. Like, I swear. Huh?